Hello everyone and welcome to the first tutorial on how to make a mandala. So this is an Indian style mandala. There's a lot of repetition. So what I'm going to talk about today is going to be possible designs that you can include in your mandala, but not limited to those, okay? So those are some designs that I have used in some of my mandalas, and this is up to you to decide what to use, and don't make your choices limited to what you see here, okay? So I'm going to just draw a line, small line, and this is a very common design that you see, which is just triangles. Very common design for you to include in your mandala, triangles. Another cool one that it doesn't look like much when you do it by itself, what would be interesting for you to include is, I call it a blossoming flower, which is just a little circle and a stem. Circle and stem, circle and stem, circle and stem. So you can add just your flower and your stem, flower and your stem, flower and your stem. So flower and stem. Another possible design that you can include would be semicircles. As you can see, the designs are very simple. And this is another one, semicircles. Another interesting one are blades of grass. What do I mean by blades of grass? Just small lines. Across the circumference of your circle, you can just add little blades of grass. By the way, if you're somebody who is specialized in mandala and you're seeing me give those names to the designs, you're probably having a fit now. Those are the names that I think are best fitting for them. Those are not technical terms in any way. Another cool design that I call a dome looks like the top of a cartoon ice cream cone. Some might say that these are lotus petals. Just use them as the dome of a building. That's another one you can add. You can make a different version of flowers. There are several. You can make one with a slightly longer stem, and you're going to understand why very soon. And as much as possible, you try to make them equidistant, meaning that this distance and this distance are the same. Make them look as similar as possible, but imperfections are always going to come. And then you can make halfway through smaller ones. And those are pretty cool. because then you can make a small curved stem joining them. I add things that come to my brain all the time to the mandala, so the entire point is kind of a meditative, so used for meditation. So you're doing repetition, you're trying to focus on those repetitions, you're not doing anything else, you're not thinking about anything else, all you're thinking is about the repetitions that come up. So often you're going to have two lines close together. Remember, all this here is a part of a big circle. I'm just making them straight so it's easier to illustrate. So I'm going to make a line, one that starts a little bit above the line below and goes all the way to the line above. And this starts at the line below and goes just under the line above. And then I'm gonna bring this here all the way down. So it's very similar to the triangles, but now I'm making the line above with triangles also, but in a way that they look like they're going to grind together, like an engine. Oops. And so on. Some people find more helpful doing the one below first and then doing the one above later. So this is another, so I'm gonna call interlocking triangles. And is an exercise to let your imagination run wild. So you can have your flower with a little mountain, your flower and another mountain, and your flower and another mountain, and your flower and another flower and another. So in some of my mandalas, I like to see patterns from all over the world and include them, because I have traveled a lot and I think traveling is part of who I am. So in many ways, the mandalas that I draw are part of who I am. They kind of express the mood in which I am. So this is another, so I'll call it flower and hue. By the way, all of this here you perhaps should find the proper name, so it's just easier for me to remember them. You can also do pebbles, the small circles close together. Why not? It's your mandala, you can do whatever you want. So you can keep on adding these pebbles. 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 Another cool one that you can do between two lines are spirals. You can start a dot in the center and just do a little spiral. Start a little bit further and do another one. Oh, that's too many. And so on. Oops. There takes a bit of exercising to make sure that they come similar. And you can make different types, which is, this is kind of a circular spiral. You can make more squared spiral. If you're into world history, there is an empire in South America. There was an empire in South America called the Inca Empire. And this here is very common in their patterns. No one knows what it means, but you can see some huge ones made across fields. And they are called, I'll call this design here the Nazca Lines, which is related to the Inca Empire. So something for you to think about. So those are also pretty cool to add. I can go on forever. I can I can make triangles that go all the way, but then you can make crosses. And then in between each cross you can add a circle. This is very common in African patterns, in tribal African patterns. Tribal African patterns, they also see the 4 elements as very important. And you can see designs like thunder coming into there. So I'm gonna call this tribal African design number 1. You can let your imagination go wild and you can come up with anything. Here is because whenever I give an example of different mandalas, when we start making one, I might call tribal African pattern number 1. I say, oh, this is a second African pattern. You can make just lines across. After a while you can change the direction and then change it again and then again and again. And then it's just a matter of completing the inside of the triangle. As you can see, they're so easy, so simple, but they make your mandala look quite special. And this is going to be my tribal African design number 2. By the way, you can find this kind of pattern, this kind of pattern, this kind of pattern in different cultures. So this is where I know them from, and this is why I'm calling them Inca, I'm calling them African, even though it's specific from some regions. I am generalizing a bit, and just like here I'm saying Inca, but it's very specific to a region of the Inca Empire. You can't find it everywhere. And I hope that helps to give you some ideas of what to use when designing mandalas. So I hope this helps. I'll see you in our next video. Bye.